Look, we all miss football. But George, I am beginning to worry that in an attempt to bring football back, we are closing our eyes to the obvious things that need to be done. I am expecting the Ghana Football, the Ghana Football Association should have outlined proper measures. Nobody, no team have the license to go contrary to that. So Hearts of Oak have got no right to be doing and saying the sort of things they are saying.
Under the circumstances, it feels like they do because there are no clear guidelines.
Yeah, yes. So I don't blame them. I blame the FA,
the lack of
because they were going to clarity. The government of the day, pushing for and there's the need for football to come back because of our national teams predominantly, and we need these boys to be in shape. How do they get in shape? Is when they are playing for their clubs. So it's a cycle that should involve every good thinker. And for me, I was shocked when I listened to my own brother Opari when he said the things he said, and knowing Opari, he wouldn't have said that.
He's a PRO.
If that wasn't the stand of the big man.
Club, yeah.
Okay, the likes of Dr. Nyao Tamaklo and Togbe Afede, Mr. Moore, the CEO of Hearts of Oak. Opari spoke for them.
Yes.
And it's a serious indictment to the likes of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Kudos to them, to Ash Gold, those who are doing, you see,
to Wafa.
Of course, man, you know they are the most professional team in Ghana.
Cities, entire lives. Yes.
Yes, they will do the right thing. Kwame Jumo, I spoke to him. If you look at Dreams FC, and that is why it is shocking to me, because if the Ghana Football Association president's team is doing the right thing, who else should be doing the wrong thing? Nobody. So for me, we should make it very clear that no team should be allowed to play football or bring players together and not do what is right. I am completely and totally disappointed
with Hearts of Oak. And the fact that Hearts of Oak, there are clubs that would want to look at Hearts and say, okay, Hearts are big giants. And that's why they have to do the right thing. For
so
the
people are reading meanings. Doesn't mean they don't have money. It's something I would never accept. How much is this?
You don't encourage people in Division 1, Division 2 to do if they say Hearts even not doing.
Of
because
course.
They can easily say, why are you not testing? Even Hearts is not testing. What's your problem?
And then, look, another major issue. I am hearing something, and I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah.
And I will entreat the Ghana Football Association in particular to come and clarify. I am hearing that per the proposal given by the FA, we are to run only 2 COVID tests per team for the entire season. I'm not substantiating that, and I'm saying that is what I am hearing. That cannot be true, because if indeed that is true, some of us will go counter to bring back the love, because there's no love to bring back if safety is being compromised.
Let me go to Ayala. Ayala, what do you know with regards to communication from the Ghana Football Association to the clubs on what they needed to do before they got back into training? Or based on everything that has been said, the FA was just expecting them to know what's right and do what's right, because clearly, whether there's been some information or no information, some clubs have done things rightly, like Wafa, I can say. Ayala, what do you make of that? What do you know?
Yeah, George, I believe in
Ayala,
what comes into equity must come with clean hands. And so those who are saying, but we've seen these political figures go around their political campaigns and people gathered around even without nose marks, as we've seen in the crowd, they're not putting up any COVID-19 protocols, but they've gone around doing whatever they are doing and no one is questioning them. I believe those who make the argument like look, if we have a COVID task force from the government to ensure that every activity runs through the protocol set up by the government, then what we see from these political figures in terms of equity, they are not coming with clean hands. That is a very, very fair debate to do. But I believe in two wrongs doesn't make a right more than those who say he who comes into equity must come with clean hands. So if what the political parties are doing, what the political figures, what the governments are doing isn't good, it doesn't mean we should replicate it in football.
Yeah.
Now, let me give you the fundamental agreement between FAs that have been able to make their case to government for the resumption of football, especially those European countries that were able to start project restart and finish their league before the start of this season.
All right.
Especially in Germany. The DFB and the Bundesliga and the other leagues were able to make a case to the government that, look, in terms of educating people on COVID, football is one of the best platforms we can use to educate people. So make sure that we go back onto the field, and we will promise you that every single thing that we will
Ayala's not off there. I hope we haven't lost Ayala.
do on the pay will be something that we'll be using as a message for people to learn how the safety protocols are when it comes to football. So if you watch from England to Germany to Spain and to all the other leagues that were able to start, they were very, very comprehensive on the protocols, making sure that that was a platform for education when it comes to COVID and its interventions and all that. So the question we ask ourselves is, what was the agreement between the Ghana Football Association and the government in terms of using football as one of the most vibrant platforms to educate the populace about COVID-19? And it's a sorry state that we in the media, who are supposed to project the good news about using football to educate people when it comes to COVID and its protocols, are now being forced or naturally have to discuss issues about the clubs themselves flouting COVID protocols when it comes to resumption of football in Ghana. And it's something that is sad. We are within a period where every platform must make it and get it right when it comes to COVID protocols. Now, I love the angle Coach Christopher Nimley came from. Now, look, yes, what is the FA doing as a regulatory body to these clubs in terms of being strict and having a task force that makes sure that the conversation and how they were able to convince the government for us to get football back is being followed, so that it doesn't seem that, look, you came pleading to us, we gave you the leeway, and look at what you guys are doing. You are not sending the right signals to the people, and people think we just left you guys to just go and do whatever you want to do. And now people will probably use football and go into the other sectors and also misbehave when it comes to COVID protocols. But the fact of the matter is, assuming even the FA as a regulatory body is not doing what they are supposed to do, the clubs themselves have the responsibility to protect their number one asset, which are their players. So if Legon Cities, Interallies, Ash Gold, Kumasi Asante Kotoko feel it is right, Wafa feel it is right that the best way to protect their finest assets in the team, which are the players, is to conduct a COVID test at the beginning of even gathering the players for training. And you see other clubs who doesn't see the need to do that, then the question you ask yourself is, yes, the FA are not doing their best as a regulatory body, but the responsibility of those clubs and the understanding of the protection of their players, how are they going about it the way they are doing it? And we must put it to them as blunt as we can on a platform like this, that what they are doing is not the best. And if they could change, it will serve the purpose of everyone. Let's use football as a platform to do the right thing for once in this country, so that everyone who follows football will know that, yes, we are being advocates and our civil right to even use our platform to educate people as to what to do is being adhered to.
That's right. Let me say hello to Coach Osman. He's joined us on the line. Hello, Coach Osman. How are you doing this morning? Do you have Coach Osman on the line? Okay, Coach Osman.
I'm good, and you?
Yes, I'm great. Coach Osman, thank you very much for joining us this morning, as always. And we are talking about the preparation of clubs in general ahead of the start of football or the new football season. Coach Osman, what can you tell me? What do you know when it comes to the Division 1s and Division 2s and 3s? Have they also started training? What can you tell us from that angle?
George, good morning to you and good morning to all viewers. It's a difficult thing to answer. It's a difficult question to answer. Really a difficult question to answer, because really the fate of Division 2 is neither here nor there. Now, I am a technical director for a Division 2 club called Owusu. And we don't know exactly what time we should even start doing our pre-season, because the way things are going is about, if you don't take time around March to 2021 before we can start the Division 2 league. And that's pretty difficult. Nimley will tell you that if your team gets to the peak before they start the league, you are in trouble. And you don't really know actually when the league would really start. So really, it's a difficult thing to do with
for Division 2s. You can say that for Division 2s. How about Division 1s?
The Division 1s definitely are scheduled to start in December in the Women's League, but not confirmed yet. What I know is that the Division 1 is a bit clear. I mean, they've started their trainings and other things. So for them, it's a bit okay. Division 2, Division 3, and the Coast League, we pray to God.
Are you comfortable with what you're seeing when it comes to what the Division 1s, for instance, are doing and preparing for the leagues, i.e. paying attention to the protocols?
Paying attention to the protocols is really something big. Look, COVID is real. I have a friend who had it and he's been cured. It's real. People should really know that it's not a joke. And the earlier we accept the fact that we need to protect ourselves, the better for everybody. It has come up again in Madrid, Spain, and we know what is happening. We are not over it yet. We have to be very careful and ensure that whatever measures we put in place is really observed. Now, coming to, I just heard the news that Atta Poku are training without following the protocols or doing some tests or whatever. But the most important thing I want us to understand, and that brings to mind the famous Alhaji Guru's interview on Nhyira FM. Anyway, now, the most important thing we need to know is that we need to protect ourselves, we need to protect the players, we need to protect the technical men, and as well the spectators who will come and watch the match. To me, the most important thing we need to do as a country is to support the teams. We know our financial level, our financial status, and we cannot leave the teams on their own and expect them to really do or observe all the protocols. Definitely, they will cut corners because they don't have the financial muscles to really observe all the protocols. So to make them really observe all the protocols, we have to give them the support. We have some COVID fund and the government is handling. How much of it are we able to give to each team to ensure that they observe the protocol and COVID protocol?
You know, this is the thing, and to be fair, if you're a Premier League club and you don't have a place to house the players, you are automatically in trouble when your players are going home and coming back. Clearly. You can see even how in England they're struggling with Sadio Mane picking up their goal counter, and it goes on and on. I don't know if we are ready, on this pattern, because even when the Premier League starts, yes, Coach Osman, yes.
Comparably, we can never be ready for this. We have to do what we call in coaching, improvise. We need to improvise a lot of things. We cannot live up to the standard the Europeans or the Americans are living so far as protection is concerned. However, with how it depends on how we improvise and what we are using in improvising to really cut down costs. But the bottom line is COVID still exists and it is dangerous. We cannot say that because we cannot house our players, we don't have the financial muscles to do that, so we just go anyhow. We need to protect ourselves. We need to protect the citizens.
Coach, I understand what you're saying, but for instance, if Wafa, I know, are taking very good care of their players, and if another club is not taking care of their players, and Wafa is going to expose his players to, because they're going to play at another club, then you're going to cause a problem, and Wafa going to have an issue when they come back.
Of course. Look, no Premier League team should tell me or tell anybody in Ghana that they cannot house their players for the next 1 month or 6 weeks. You are not qualified to be a player.
So there has to be, Coach, there has to be a bit of enforcement now.
Yes.
Is the club licensing board going around? Is the FA having a task force? Perhaps you could replace the familiarization tour with going around to ensure what the clubs are doing around.
Coach made a very important point when he said we should support these teams.
Yes, support them, yes.
Nobody say don't support. But before I'll sit here and say the government of Ghana should go and support them, I'll wait to see what the Ghana Football Association can do or will do first. Because they've got money. They've got good money. The president is on record to have said that we've never said anywhere that we are broke. And recently, as a result of this COVID thing, more money has been added or has been deposited into that FA account. What have they told us about that? Look, I think the Ghana Football Association has not led by example when it comes to, that is why we are where we are. The Ghana Football Association, in my view, is definitely in the position to have said that, look, as your mother association, we will run the test for all of you before you all start training. Now,
then you the clubs continue.
If you're unable to count the boys, then you bear the added cost. But as we speak, George, this is your job. Have you heard any emphatic statement from the Ghana Football Association?
Now, the last statement I heard from the Ghana Football Association was an interview my colleague Mubarak Haruna had with Henry Asante-Chum.
Yes.
And Henry did say government had promised to take the cost of testing players. But I'm like, if government has promised, how many times is government going to stand in the way? It's not like a one-time event.
If you sit there and everything government, you yourself, what are you doing? So that everybody will say, oh, you guys are doing well. So government, please, when they've gotten to, at least they can no longer continue. So go to their aid and help them out. Everything government. But when it comes to paying yourself good money, you don't see the need to bring government. That one you find the money to pay. They shouldn't do this. You see, some of us, when we see, look, before I will help somebody,
you want to see what the person can do.
There that the person himself is very capable of doing certain things. I went back and see. Do the sort of things that I think are within your reach to be done. Then I'll come on, let's go and support.
Atta Poku has joined us from Kumasi as well. Collins Atta Poku joins us, Wontumi Sports. Atta Poku, how are you doing this morning?
I'm very well, George. And
good.
Yourself? My regards to the guys.
Well, good. And it's good to have you on. Let's go straight to you. I mean, you're also a club person. Tell me, do you think that when it comes to supporting the clubs, the FA has done its bit in ensuring that every club, does the right thing before they camp their players, before they go and train and everything? Do you think that from a club's administrator's point of view, everything has been done, or there ought to be some support? And what do you have to say as well about monitoring too?
Well, the problem here is what Nimley just pointed out. The GFA had been very deficient in pulling its weight to help in the fight against COVID generally. And then the idea of football coming back and the FA's rationale behind it. We did not hear any cogent argument aside boys need to fear Omuniska, girls need to fear Amanfonye. These were the arguments they were preferring. And when you read the initial proposal submitted by the FA for football to resume, and the one sent by the Ghana Golf Association, well, it's not so nice comparing the two because one is contact sport, the other is not. One is a team sport with large numbers, the other is a team sport with a golfer and a caddy. But you look at the issue of testing, the FA has never been proactive. And it took Dr. Nsiasai to come out and say that, look, government has budgeted for football in its testing measures. So when you mention the GFA's name, the first thing that comes up in this COVID fight is the offering of the Ghana Soccer School of Excellence as an isolation center. But the merit of what are we doing to bring football back, the FA did not offer much. They offered very little. Would you test? If you wouldn't test, what cost are you willing to bear? What are you going to do? And I had someone in government tell me that, look, you guys are blaming us that football is not back. But when you were sharing the money for COVID, you forgot there should be life post-COVID for football. You did not even bother putting in something for Veronica Bucket or something that covered the health of players. Why? Then I was just laughing because it had not even crossed my mind as a person that we should raise that on that Zoom call with the FA representing the Diana Stars. But all we were talking about in the media landscape was that why are we giving some of the money to Black Stars? Why are we giving some of the money to this? Why are we going to do training for media personnel and all those things? So the argument changed. The argument changed entirely from what would we do to get football back to what are we doing to support football in the current malaise. So the issue was not even about what do we do post-COVID or how do we get football back. It has always been how do we sustain these clubs and players during the era of the pandemic. So we have not been proactive as a group. And I must admit that even now, the issue my colleagues are raising about monitoring, man, I'm being honest with you, is going to be very, very difficult. You see, the FA went on a collision course with government at some point, which was needless. When they started complaining too much, let's football resume. When they started posting their numbers through the president and other people, the government finally told the press that, look, when we tested for the black maidens and princesses, we had cases. So the idea that we are going to have a zero case count across the testing being done by the clubs is one that is a fallacy. We will get some. Why? These are players, and we can't even lie, have been actively playing Sunday special and community galas
before,
whilst they've been home. And there are times I have to even call some of my players and tell them, look, you can go and sneak and play your football, but don't put it on your status, on your WhatsApp and social media handles that you are going to play this gala there, and then you have your pictures on it. It could get us and you into trouble. So the monitoring aspect, in fact, unless Dr. Nsiasa and his team gets people to do this, because look, I heard you say club licensing. If we enforce this thing to the latter, not all of us can play. We have a decent camping site at Domesia. We always go there for our games. It's a village. And the site is very conducive. Very few people are there. But imagine telling Kotoko, imagine telling Mediama, the others, to go and play and then probably camp in a hotel. They can pay. You would drain them and you make it life difficult for them. So unless the FA comes out with a bold plan to ensure that probably we use some of these senior high school facilities. Let's look at the Legon City's example. They decided to go to the Central University College.
Yeah.
Well, that is a bit far off the cosmopolitan bubbling Accra. So you can get that. But how many clubs can get that facility? How does it even work? We are in for
it's a big worry. Yeah, it's a big worry, Ayala. It's a big worry here because, well, Ghana Premier League or the Ghana football season is starting next month. We're counting down. 13th of November. So Ayala, what would you propose to the FA to do now? I mean, because you see, government promising you our test, and government can promise you $500,000 today, and you can receive it in the next 2-3 years based on how things go. So what do you expect the FA to do now in the meantime? Can the FA say, okay, let's take this money, give to the clubs, give to these guys, you guys test, you do this, and sure they're doing it? Because if they're not doing it, Ayala will go to the stadium and interview the players and be in trouble too.
Just, but in all this discussion, what happened to the fit for purpose argument? Because if you're a club and you think you can play in a Premier League, there is something we call fit for purpose argument. You must make it too. So the clubs themselves, in terms of the company that they've registered as a limited liability company, and what they are supposed to do as their core responsibility to protect their players and administrators and individuals working for the club. And it being standard protocol that before you get into any group activity, you need to make sure that these tests are being run and you monitor the situation very, very well. Are we saying that in Ghana, there is nothing we call fit for purpose argument and that everything must go to the mother body for them to help? Again, what happened to the argument of the FIFA COVID Relief Fund that was meant for the resumption of football, that the clubs advocated that they should be given the chunk of the money, which has been done by the FA. Now, if you've been given a COVID relief fund money that was meant for the resumption of football, how then do you resume football, advocate for resumption of football, and not take part of that money that is meant for resumption of football into monitoring and testing of your players and your administrators? So sometimes, yes, the FA as an overall boss get the chunk of the argument and the criticism in terms of their monitoring and how they are able to evaluate these situations and get the best out of the situation. But for me, I think we must also give a very, very good attention to the fit for purpose of the club and what they are also doing in terms of their responsibility, because at the end of the day, they've gotten the COVID relief fund. The money has hit their account, at least the first tranche has hit their account, and that is meant for the resumption of football by these clubs. And the fundamental to resumption of football is to do COVID tests and make sure you monitor your players at the safest environment for them to even resume training for football to come back. So we should try as much as possible to also engage the clubs on this and make them aware of their responsibility in making football safe for all of us to be able to discuss the results.
Coach Osman, I think that at a point it will feel like the FA has to strike, but they need a moral right to strike. Yes, they're giving COVID money. They would want to strike and say, you guys must do what you are supposed to do, because it's not good hearing Hasselhoff say what they said. And if I was a Division 3 club, I'll tell my friends, having collected the money, it wasn't good to hear Hasselhoff saying that. Because Hasselhoff, even without the money, must get to do it. Yeah. But we haven't heard anything from the FA. We haven't heard anything, from the FA trying to tell Hasselhoff that you cannot do that. Because as we speak, everybody in Ghana, Division 3 will say, oh, don't worry. Even Hasselhoff are not training, they are not testing. Why should we test? Let's go on with this one. Coach Osman.
Basically, I think once I give you something to do something for me, I should make sure that I've put in structures in place to ensure that I have overview of what to use the money for. In other words, we should be accountable and get value for money. That is what really matters. It doesn't matter if it is my pocket money or it is the money of the government. They should ensure value for money. How do you ensure value for money? You have to make sure that you've put in structures that will make you ensure that what the money is meant for is used according to the plan. Now, if FA do not have a monitoring team to be going and testing, and do not have hospitals that they've contacted that will do the testing for them and directly pick results from the hospital instead of from the clubs, those are some of the things that will definitely come across.
I'm really disappointed on this one, and I'm getting scared already for us in the way we want to go with this.
How do you bring back the love this way?
And you see, but again, and you don't
look. Ayala made a fantastic point. Yes, I have spoken about the FA. Look, but
how about the clubs?
The clubs themselves,
and understanding that the players are asset.
They should have that sense of responsibility that it is our duty to make sure that our players are safe. For me, like you rightly said, you guys will go out there. These are the protagonists. Once they get the job done, you guys will have to put the necessary mileage on the job that they have been done. How do you do that? You want to get to them. You want to interview them. They are at risk. You are also at risk as we speak. More or less, it's pre-season time. Knowing you'll be sending Haruna and Queenster and Co. You'll be going to the training grounds of these teams.
Yes.
And can you imagine going there and not feeling safe? For the fact that you are not even safe, why would you want to even go there? See, you haven't jeopardized your the life of your family and everything.
Let me ask Papa this. Papa, you see, I want to be fair on the show, and I want us to be as real as possible. Is this, COVID in Ghana is over. There's no COVID in Ghana. Is this, see, because I mean, no, Papa, you help me on this one, I know there's COVID in Ghana, there's COVID on paper, there's COVID in there. But sadly, you see how people behave in the country. It's like, COVID couldn't do anything. It is malaria still the king. Papa, is that what is trickling in? Is that the way the players are feeling? The players don't even feel scared they are not scared of COVID like it's supposed to be.
From the from the outside perspective,
yes.
I have players. Let me say that we are doing the testing today. So
okay, good.
10:30, I have to leave for the Mine Crow so that we start the process for everybody.
That's right.
Now, when you speak to them, the argument they prefer, sometimes you weep.
That's the thing.
They've got it. No, some of them ask me about you, Kra. Why are you guys forcing this thing? We go to the market and all that. Go to the market and see what's happening there.
Yeah.
I tell them that, look. When I finish laughing, then I tell them, look. Now we have a contract with you. We owe you a duty of care.
Yeah.
Should something happen to you whilst you are on our books, we are liable for the repercussions thereof. And the general idea that, oh, that's a Sunday special,
See?
You see, there's a difference between part-time schooling and organized schooling. This is organized football. Organized football comes with consequences. When you are playing your Sunday special, you don't pay any tax to the government as a team. But we have to do, you don't pay SNIT and all those things. So we've been trying to tell them that, look, when you confront me, I just tell you, you remember what Dr. Pambo said, that when you get this virus, you are liable for a cardiac arrest as an athlete.
Yeah.
So be careful. Be careful. Be careful.
But the awareness is down.
Worried about that part. What Nimley and Osman said, look, if we are not careful, right after resuming the games, we would report abnormal rates compared to the national rates of infection. If you are not careful. Because even under the normal circumstances, we clubs are willing to take responsibility in normal times camping. You wake up and somebody is not in bed and he has gone out before a game. When you go and ask, oh, Name Bompaya Kakraba. So if they are able to do that in normal times, out of abnormal times, they will go. And we don't even have the capacity to say that we are testing once every week. We are testing today to resume football. As to when we are going to have another round of testing,
that is my
until we've spoken to the people at the Doma Presby Hospital to see if they can get us some of the kids.
Charlie.
That's the danger, Papa. Papa, right there is the danger. Right there is the danger. How many times, even for those who have done it, how many times are they going to do it? That's the danger. Like
so as we are here, as far as I don't know, but after today, we'll push ourselves and see if we could get that in a month. That's the best we are pushing for. Just before the resumption. And we are going to bring in new players too after today. So just look at all the trouble that comes with it. For the management and the technical team, it's constant. We know who and who will be there. But the players, some will be joining us very soon after today. They are new players. And we have to institute testing for them too. So, man, this logistically, we need a bold plan. The clubs must take responsibility. I agree with Chris. But look, you take responsibility with resources.
Exactly. I know. Is it?
Exactly.
And then
Ayala,
you
see, Ayala, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, perhaps the best way to play this Ghana Premier League is playing in a bubble. And you test everybody and you put them in one place and let them play, if it was possible. Like what NBA is doing.
Now what is being done?
Because
what is more serious is that, look, I think at a point, the Ghana Football Association felt the whole national attitude towards COVID is low, and that they can also engage on that tangent. Because look, Atta referred to the document, and I've heard Coach Nimley also refer to the document that the FA submitted to government for the resumption of football. In that document, the FA had proposed, after doing their risk analysis, to play zonal league, northern sector, southern sector. Northern sector will have the Linkley Sports Stadium, and then Anajima Bedu Park at Doma for the games. And the southern sector was said to have Accra Sports Stadium in Cape Coast. Now, after government announced that the stadium could be filled by 25%, the FA went into a meeting and abandoned that model they wanted to use for the resumption of football to a national league. That alone must get you to understand that the FA think, oh, look, if we look at the national attitude towards COVID now, we think it is loosened and that we can go ahead. And even without communicating that we've done risk analysis of all the venues, we can go ahead and play the National League. And for me, that is where these things are coming from. So genuinely, if we want to be fair to ourselves, the general attitude towards COVID is that that is very, 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 very disheartening. And as I've said in the past, football is a tool that we could have seized to ensure for once the right thing is being done about this COVID in Ghana. And I think we are also failing with our plan.
Let me activate the phone lines now. 03022116916992. When you come on, you tell us whether you have confidence that we can play Ghana Premier League with no problems. Because remember, This is not English Premier League we're about to play, or La Liga. Ghana Premier League means that every player has a connection, and it's across board. Yeah. Now, you have friends, you have brothers, you have cousins. This is Ghana Premier League, yeah. And so I want you guys to come on and tell us what you think. 0302-211-691-692. We're supposed to do the mathematics of Asamoah going to Kumasi and Santiago, but clearly we have a lot to talk about that. We have a lot to talk about that. That's a special topic, and it would need as much time as it will go. But Papa, just quickly tell me, whilst we wait for the calls coming through, 0302-211-691-692, is we expected an announcement of a new technical director. What went wrong in the process? Why didn't we hear that anymore?
Nimley and Co hijacked it.
Nimley hijacked. I knew you get them. That's why I brought Osman and Nimley. In fact, I should have asked Osman and Nimley, but I wanted you to open it up. I have my first call on the line. Bawa, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, Bawa, are you there? How are you doing?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
All right, I can hear you. Can you go ahead? Okay, we've lost the call on the line. Papa, so they hijacked it. Coach Nimley and Coach Osman.
Oh yeah. The FA had to quickly look at things and say that, hey, the way these people are behaving now, COVID, we are not responsible enough. National team coaches, they've not been paid. And then we are just bringing the way sometimes they will record the videos of Nimley saying, we don't want just any European at all, white man at all. But they had moved the argument from skin to competent skin. And it was tight.
So. Bawa is back on the line. Bawa, good morning. Hello, Bawa, are you there? Oh, I hope you don't have problems with our lines this morning. Please call through 0302-211-691-692.
Actually,
yes, Coach Osman, now you respond. What have you been saying to the FA?
Actually, our Arsenal were really trying to use the payment of the national coaches. I think Papa he's given that clear to GFA, so maybe perhaps they would work on that. But good for us if they're able to pay all our coaches. However, we still insist that we are not saying that they should not bring an expatriate, but our major issue is he has to be better than what we have.
Okay, hold on with that. Hold on with that.
And I tell you that, look,
hold on.
Do not take.
But hold on with that. I'll come back to you. Hold on with that. Let's pick Felix. Felix on the line. Felix, good morning. How are you doing? Hello, Felix. Felix.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Felix. Let's hear from you.
This is not Felix. My name is Pipra.
Oh, Pipra. All right, Pipra. Let's hear from you then. All
right. With regards to whatever is going on with the COVID-19 in football, I think the FA from the onset has never shown or has never proven to be serious. Because like Atta Poku said, all that they care about is our boys are in the house. Our boys are in the house and they are not eating, they are not training, the other stuff. But you see, what they have forgotten is that these footballers, some of them are very careless. They go about their normal disease like nothing is really happening. And then you gather them, and for us to blame the players. They should have insisted, because their welfare is very important. They should have insisted that without the COVID test, we are not coming for training. Yeah. And the management cannot say they are cancelling their contract or sacking them to go home. The players ought also to be responsible for their own welfare. And I'm very, very disappointed in the players. They are the reason why team owners do not respect players in Ghana. Thank you very much.
I think you made a great point.
That's a fantastic point.
It's a shared responsibility.
Fantastic point right there.
Parents of players, brothers of players, sisters of players, don't let your player go. The players themselves, don't let your player go without being tested and the others being tested. Coach Osman, you are hijacking the technical director.
What I'm trying to say is that really, look, the GFA is learning nothing out of what is going on. Recently, I heard the president trying to say that they are planning to really improve on the technical bits of our football in Ghana, with no consultation with our coaches. I mean, you've gone through to try to select a technical director without involving the Coaches Association, without having a single representation and on the interview panel. And then you are going to say you're going to invest in training coaches again without involving them. What are we learning? Look, the coaches are very, very, very formidable now. We have a strong association, and we would push back to anything that is not in our interest.
I can see you're pushing back. That is why you are holding them to ransom, really. Aziz on the line. Aziz, good morning.
Hello.
Aziz, good morning. How are you doing?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Wow, today.
Good morning. My name is Patrick.
Oh, Patrick. Okay, if you lost Aziz. Patrick, let's hear from you then.
Yeah, calling from Kumau. Hello.
Yes, from Kumau.
Yeah, this is Patrick calling from Kumau. Yeah, please. I think the FA is not serious in Ghana here because before the resumption of football, the hula balloon in the system was that the government don't think up. Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah. The FA was making a hula balloon in the system that the government don't think about football and all those things without planning of how good we can take care of the boys if football resumes. They were not thinking about that. All that they were saying is that the government don't think about football. So I agree with you. The GFA needs to be blamed for this thing.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Players to need to take responsibility, as said. Okay. So Charles, my final caller. Charles, good morning.
Yeah, Charles calling from Agege.
Go ahead. Oh, wow, Charles. Good. I hope you are fine.
Yeah, I'm fine, George.
Chelsea is winning later today.
I have a little point to make.
Okay.
Good. Our problem here is that our payment terms sometimes it's not that good. You understand? Quarry says Owusu folks sold one of their players. I don't think he will just be there without training for him to get that opportunity there. They need to train. So all the GFA need to do is to put measures. The team need to put measures in terms of training and crew. But you can't tell them not to train. I mean, how possible? Even in Europe, where people are dying every day, they are training, they are playing, people even come to the stadium. Say they should put measures and stop that. They shouldn't train and whatever. No, I don't think it's the best. No.
All right, thank you.
So thank you, George.
Thank you very much, Charles. That's my final caller on that one.
Tell Nimley.
Nimley, okay. I've told him. Nimley says no training for the players. They won't test.
Of course.
So ensure that they don't train. That's your job. Let's end it. Papa has spoken about the technical director, and I think Coach Osman, you've also spoken. Ayala, quickly, in 1 minute, what's the latest on Asamoah Gyan? Is it looking likely Kotoko can get him?
What I know is that they are still on the negotiation table. The difference is the quotation of the figures. What Asamoah Gyan and his team came on board with was $500,000. Whether you believe it or not, that was the figure quoted.
That was the figure.
Kotoko think it's too much on the high, and if they could beat it down to a reasonable price that they can afford, they would love to have Asamoah Gyan in their team. Speaking to the management, they think this is the right time. If Asamoah Gyan really want to play for Kotoko, this is the right time. So let's see how it goes. They are still with the negotiations, but they are too far off in terms of the figures. And probably in the coming weeks, we will hear something positive.
Good. I think that's what we needed to hear. And it will set us up in there. Thank you very much, Ayala.
Can I make a quickly comment? Just a short comment.
Yeah, 15 seconds, please, Coach Osman.
Okay, so we are talking about the players, we are talking about the technical team, we are talking about everybody around the team. Nobody is talking about the journalists. What's the preparation for the journalists? Because they are integral part of this whole process. They will go and interview the coaches, they will go to the training grounds. What support are we giving to the journalists, or what preparation is GFA putting in place to ensure the journalists are really covered?
Come and test us. Come and test all of us. We'll be fine. Thank you very much.